Welcome to the Dice Box and Dunwall by Night. Previously, there were a couple of issues that came up in the course of trying to get Mina a governess, Evangeline a place in Lady Hepzibah's organization, and generally trying to sort life out so that Jerrica, at minimum, can go about her bloody vengeance. Viola has been called away on a infiltration mission, which, she kind of has to do solo, but I'm sure that at some point you guys will be called in to back her up, save her ass, something along those lines. Because that's the way the world works when I am your DM. Meanwhile, you guys have other problems. Mostly the overseers being guided along in their search for the people who kidnapped two individuals and attempted to murder one, according to the story that is doing the rounds right now, with local guides carrying blood-based tracking charms. They're not 100% sure who those are based on. Probably both of them, which is why their current off-the-books mission, because it has to be off the books because they can't be leading overseers and the like to Lady Hepzibah's court, is getting the bits of blood that they managed to take from Evangeline and Mina to make sure they cannot make more charms from them. They'll still have whatever charms have already been made, but they'll have to deal with that as and when it comes. There's also the passingly curious fact that Mina seems to visit the void in her dreams and is seeing some unfortunate shit. Jerrica is not best pleased with that and is probably going to be talking with certain swamp witches, if such can be properly negotiated with, to see if there's any way to prevent that. None of this is ideal, but... So, yes, as far as I recall it, y'all were planning on heist tonight and talking to the somewhat subtle swamp witch, who apparently turns up at the no-name inn for lunch on a daily basis.
Seeing a Brigmore witch in town is just entertaining on so many levels, considering their usual behavior.
Well, they need stuff.
Yes.
So somebody's got to be coming in. But yes, currently they've got Alan on guard duty, at least on the outside. I honestly don't recall whether they decided that Evangeline was going with, probably not, on the grounds that she'd be most readily recognized, even if her getting from point A to point B would probably be a useful thing.
Jerrica was gonna talk to her because she
we
knows
had
the interior and there's the teleportation.
Yes, that can probably be done over whatever dinner bits and pieces, and once they've tucked Mina in for the night. So, yeah, afterwards it's just sort of... I can sketch something out. I can send you there, I think. It's getting you back. You're on your own for that.
Fine. It's more than we can ask for.
Well, it's obviously not more than you can ask for. You've asked for it, and at least getting you there I can probably provide. It's just a matter of where to get you. As I can't...
The attic?
Do we have anyone in the attic at the moment? We've got a few bits of the help, I think, sleeping in the attic.
Maybe not the attic, then.
I mean, there's a couple of spots in the attic that are largely storage, but I try not to disturb anything in the attic because I'm fairly sure that a few of the stuff kind of make off with some of the dustier pieces to sell on to supplement their pay packets. And I've known about it for years, but I wasn't going to interfere. And if I maybe snuck something that might be worth something up there to be discovered.
The help might be more loyal to you than to everyone else in that building.
It's entirely possible, but I couldn't say one way or the other. They might not know. Then again, the help is usually fairly intelligent, so they might. But I wouldn't blame them for just lumping all nobles together in... Of course, then there's the other unfortunate possibility, which if they are loyal to me, and if they've heard the stories that are going around, you'd have to talk fast. Because if they did like me, and I always tried to treat them more fairly than just about anybody else without arousing suspicion, and they heard that you tried to murder me?
Ideally, we're not talking to anyone in there.
But just in case, is there anything that would prove?
Well, this is gonna sound very frivolous, but funnily it might be a indication of who you were sent by and a friendly association with them rather than a if I sent you into the root cellar, you could get up into the main household through the kitchens. There's always side routes that are only used by the staff and are thus seldom guarded. It might be at least a good way to get to the levels where even I don't go. But it would mean going through the pantry.
There's no one else there in the middle of the night.
Well, there's always servants around somewhere. Not as many in the middle of the night, but drinks, snacks, but that's kind of what I was on about. They do sort of a candied violet cookie. And there's always a stash of them in the third shelf from the bottom of the pantry, left-hand corner.
Got it.
If you took those, if somebody tried to stop you, you could sort of say she sent me for these.
I'm doing that.
Is there anyone else in the manor? Anyone dangerous?
I don't know what... I imagine they would have increased security at this point. After everything that happened. So I couldn't say because I wasn't there for it. We have a sort of a... You couldn't really call him a seneschal, but you can really call him a head of security. Either sort of a combination of both. An advisor of that sort of thing. Connor. If any of the hiring was to be done, it would have been done through him. He'd be the one arranging the search. Assuming there is one, and clearly there is. I don't know how deeply involved he is in any of this. I didn't speak to him much. I found him a little off-putting.
Well, that doesn't sound like a good sign.
Well, I couldn't say either way. I was always a little bit too friendly with the help to be a shining example of the nobility. Ideas below my station.
Alright, where do you think they'll be keeping the blood and any other witchcraft?
That's the thing. I know where the usual vaults are, but I don't know if they trust that kind of thing to the same spots as they do the family heirlooms. I can
Well,
only think of two places they might be. They might have cleared a spot in the vaults, which are sort of next level down from the attic towards the back of the house. Or there could be a secret room in that spot in the basement.
question. What sort of animals may or may not be around the house?
Corgis.
Corgis.
They deal
Oh,
they deal with the rats.
Yep, that's actually a good thing in this context.
You think they'd be more friendly to you than the hand that feeds?
Not necessarily, but being able to ask if there's anywhere that the rats have gotten into that the hand that feeds doesn't know and doesn't seem to understand them trying to point it out, I think I can be convincing. After all, I am a former royal rat catcher.
That's fair. Just be careful. I don't know if animals can lie.
We'll find out.
Hopefully not to your detriment.
Delphine, how well can you see in the dark?
Hmm. Well, in the kind I can create, I don't think anyone can see.
Actually, Jerrica already knows she can. Is she actually going to flag that up? Because that might be
Oh,
useful.
because I would remember this because we talked about this before.
Yes.
Save one person, and that person being you.
If she can, is it possible that somebody else might have that gift? Because as I recall, the captain dude was seeing you perfectly fine too.
Perhaps, but I was thinking more in terms of Delphine keeping up with me. How well can Fluffy see in the dark?
Fluffy can see in the dark as well as whatever shape he's in sees in the dark.
Fair enough.
And Fluffy is just, I'm going to be something that doesn't talk again.
The day we find something that can do... The day we find a... creature with a voice that can also see in the dark, that may become a more regular use, but until then, sorry.
Poop.
Alright, show me the route from the root cellar to the basement. Sounds like we should start there and then work our way upwards.
I don't know if there's a direct way underground. You might have to go up and then back down. I don't
Alright.
imagine they want rituals happening in the same places they have their food.
the back ways that servants go through should at least get us to a way down there relatively easily.
I don't think they want the servants to know what they were
That's
doing. You notice down there that the one thing that wasn't down there was servants.
mm-hmm.
Servants talk too
What
much.
what I mean more is that those pathways, the back stairs and such, will have exits and entrances near enough to main stairs and other passages that we may be able to use to our advantage.
It's certainly possible, and I think that's a we live in eternal hope situation.
Yeah, a lot of this
I never
is
did actually do the.
going to be down to
There's going to be a lot of luck there.
yep, a lot of luck in seeing what we can improvise on the ground as we get there, because it's not as though Evangeline
do.
would have immediate access to all blueprints of the building for us.
The bits in the basement are bits I don't know overly well, but there is one thing I would significantly recommend. I don't think there's any way of. I don't think there's any way that they're not going to know that someone's been there. I think that it's possible that, particularly if you're having to look at what's in the vaults upstairs, which you might want to do anyway, because even if the blood's not there, other items might be.
All kinds of delightful possible goodies.
I was actually going to recommend stealing something non-eldritch.
I'll see what's there.
It'll, if nothing else, it'll probably mollify Lady Hepzibah. And, I know that diggings here have been more or less covered, but it might be worthwhile to make sure it stays that way. We're kind of lacking in other options, and I don't think that us living separately is going to be a good idea for a while.
We can get something worth coin, we could bloody well make use of it.
Yep. After all, I do need to build up a facility again like I had before.
Well, as far as I can tell, you have the space for that at least. Okay.
There's a few bits and bobs, but those are far and away in the future, provided we get through all of this first.
If you can manage to, if you're upstairs, my room is kind of on the route to the vaults. I think this will probably be most useful for you, Delphine. Under my bed, there's a box. In that box is a bag that you would not generally see a lady of means carrying. More of a satchel than anything else. It was a gift from one of my nursemaids. The most recent one, when I think she figured out that I didn't necessarily want to stay. With everything that happened when I left, I didn't have time to take it. It's charmed in a very specific way. It holds more than a bag that size should by orders of magnitude.
Oh.
Huh.
I'll be sure to retrieve it.
You can have use of it if you need to be scavenging for bits for your rat Shangri-La.
I think that's it from Jerrica.
One thing that you might want to consider with Fluffy as a potential distraction if servants or servants shouldn't be so bad. Guards, though, if you do happen to run into any, like I said, corgis, and they're not just there to potentially speak to. One corgi looks more or less like another. If you get heard and somebody's looking for you, could Fluffy be a corgi?
Fluffy.
Fluffy starts swearing, but in that resigned, I know what's going to happen next way. Raven swearing.
You know. We'd rather find out now than get there and find out we can't.
Fine!
You'll be a raven in a moment afterwards.
Fine.
And corgification.
You've never seen such a dirty look from a corgi. And telepathically to Delphine, I'm fluffy proper now, and I don't like it. But if it's helpful, fine.
And telepathically back. You do have very efficient teeth in that form.
Yeah, but then there's this and does that corgi sploot thing.
Jerrica looks at the map sketch to see if Eva noted if Eva labeled the master bedroom.
Not the master bedroom, no. There's a couple of largish rooms that might be it. If she wants to know the master bedroom, she will have to ask. Because currently Evangeline is just going, oh yeah, you're going to fit right in.
Decorgifying.
And Raven, the swearing starts again.
Jerrica, stay silent.
I think we need a little bit more articulate swearing. That parrot form.
Further. Sorry, and you do have Evangeline going, did I miss something? You're glaring at the map.
No, it's perfectly fine, Evangeline. Thank you.
Give me a deception check.
Insight check.
Oh.
Drat.
Thankfully, these win out.
Oh my god.
Just, mind you, just. If there's something you need, tell me. They tried to kill me. Do you really think I have any loyalty to them now?
I understand it's still a difficult situation for you, Evangeline.
What? If it's too difficult, I'll tell you that.
Alright. Where's your father's room?
Actually points to one of the furthest possible of the larger rooms, one of the furthest possible from hers, moderately near the vault on the other side, mind you. I was trying to avoid that one being marked largely because it's obviously a bigger guard patrol than mine is. Although at the same time they might have upped things if they think that anyone's going to come for more of my things, but given the state I was in when I went through that portal, I'd be amazed if they thought I survived.
Yeah.
Then again, if they're tracking with my blood, they might know anyway. So I don't know. But anyway, that's my father's room. Do you mind if I ask why you want to know?
Isn't it obvious?
Depending on what time you go, he might not be there. He and my mother have an arrangement. I mean, first of all, my mother's room is down at the other end of the corridor. And I'm not sure whether tonight is his night at
Is it the
Baroness.
cat?
Baroness Lester's place, actually.
Wow.
It's
So
a
fucking
whole
stereotypes, is he?
it's a whole whirligig of trade-offs in terms of who's sleeping with whom. Actually, I think it's my mother who's largely with brothels that, or Lady Esther Lee down at the other end of the road. She has varied interests.
I don't need to know.
The only reason you might is because they might not be home.
Yep.
Fair enough,
And-
Matt.
And Jerrica, given this information, if you did want to bushwhack them, as it were,
We're getting the blood first, obviously.
It's
that was my point.
I think actually I think I also see a little further where that's going. If you're in my room for the bag anyway, I keep a running tally of what my family's up to in terms of that. If nothing else, it was going to make good blackmail, but it also gives a pretty accurate indication of their movements.
That is a very useful schedule. And
We'll be sure to take that then.
many layers of useful outside that alone.
I don't remember off the top of my head everything I wrote down, but some of the people they spoke to, the amount of coin that changed hands, I noticed things. And while I wrote it in cipher, I did write it down.
We'll bring it back.
You are nothing short of an absolute delight. We are definitely bringing it back.
That's part of what I was discussing with Lady Hepzibah, actually. I didn't actually tell her how much information I had, better to bargain with later. But, the whole fact that I do pay attention, a few bits of a bit of show the flash before you take their cash gossip, that kind of thing, just to show I was useful.
It's mighty impressive.
It's not summoning swarms of lizard things, but or that shadow claw. What's it? But it gets a job done.
Exactly.
But no, seriously, if there's anything else, speak now. I'm not going to judge, or if I'm going to hold back, I'll tell you once you've crossed the line, but it's better to ask just in case.
Nope, I can't think of anything. Jerrica?
I think she's already. I think the last of it was the leave us not split hairs, bloody vengeance against my father.
Oh, we'll get that. We'll get that.
I don't know if it'll be tonight or not, and honestly, not sure whether it'd be bad or good if he was home tonight, because on the one hand, just stealing things could have been anybody. Murder him tonight, and it looks like somebody systematically destroying the Gallenfort family.
Yeah, so I'm thinking we should avoid that confrontation in the immediate, if as much as possible, and ideally,
I'm not going to argue with her if she decides it has to be done tonight. I just needed to flag up that it might be a bit more of a red flag against you. Particularly so soon after the heir went.
And that's why that's why getting the jump on him on his way to one of said activities would probably be more advantageous.
Advantageous.
No home. Thank you. No home field. Less of his sorcery and immediate access.
All right, Delphine.
And the potential to lay the blame at the feet of any number of local gangs.
She knows. Like I say, and she's looking at Jerrica at this point. Like I say, I'm not going to say one way or another what you should do. I am flagging up potential drawbacks. That's all.
I appreciate that.
I can understand why. And while I don't mind that you're going to do it whenever you do it, I am kind of grateful that I'm probably not going to have to watch. So,
Understandable.
Swings and roundabouts. If it comes down to catching him en route, what I'll probably do is meet you in a nearby location and teleport you out.
That'll be a plan for another night. Awfully glad you've been writing that journal down.
Like I say, if nothing else, it was going to be blackmail material. Now it's going to be that and a fair bit more, I would imagine. Honestly, I'm planning on when and if I get it back, having a look in it and a little more depth than I did when I was first writing it, because some things might come a little clearer now that I know just how embroiled in all of this my family seems to be. They never tell girls anything.
Yep. Well, at this point it means for us, let's get this festivity started.
As an out of character aside, I'm pretty sure let's get this show on the road still works.
Delphine was just intentionally being a little obtuse about it.
Fair. So, yeah, Evangeline starts sketching out her circle and bids you all stand in it. Mind your heads, they hang onions in baskets from the ceiling.
Crouching.
And for Delphine, at the very least, it's pitch black when you turn up. For Jerrica, who did not crouch, make... Actually, no, I'm just going to roll the Hand of Fate on that one, I think. Jerrica upsets a basket of onions and just boink! Onions everywhere. So, Delphine hears boink! Thump, 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 all around. Then a couple of onions probably bounce off her head.
And I'm just gonna breathe in. It smells like onion, doesn't it?
It smells of root cellar. It smells of root cellar and onion skin, mostly.
I'm going to, So, Jerrica, what do you see?
Mostly what she sees is bushels of root vegetables, onions hanging in baskets from the ceiling. There's a well-stocked root cellar, and at the far end there is a door.
Beller, keep your head down. She starts moving for the door.
Okay.
Looks through the keyhole.
Perception check. Yeah, there's a bit more light in the kitchen, not much, but the very large stove, what little you can see of it, you can see a faint glow coming from the bank coals, and there is a candle. What you are currently seeing is a rather spare, spindly sort of a gentleman sitting at a sort of a butcher block table, where you're hearing more than seeing, but you occasionally get glimpses of what seems to be a sort of the kind of plump, matronly woman you'd expect to find in a kitchen. Is pottering around with some sort of baked good, it's hard to tell in such poor light, and tea. And they seem to be having a quiet little natter. You're not quite hearing what they're saying, but there's enough in the tone to suggest that it's commiseration, concern, and that kind of quiet, oh, the poor dear kind of conversation that happens when somebody that they're fond of is sick, missing, or dead.
About what time was it when we departed?
Given
Still about that time.
Yeah, given the, I mean, you're looking, you would have gone late, so you were aiming for more the kind of midnighty kind of time, which is usually a between guard shift. These are clearly after hours, doing whatever wind down they're doing before, whatever nap they're getting before breakfast prep or whatever else they're doing. You don't know what the spindly man does, but the matronly woman is more than likely kitchen stuff.
While Jerrica's looking, I'm going to telepathy at Fluffy. I really could use the ability to see, and I'm just going to shift Fluffy to Owl and look through Fluffy's eyes.
And yeah, you're seeing a root cellar and Jerrica bent over, peering through a keyhole.
With a sort of displaced view.
Yep. Oh, currently Fluffy is on your shoulder to try to undisplace the view as much as possible.
It's still like offset a little, so that's just interesting to me. So I'm going to just casually follow Jerrica because I stayed there because Jerrica clearly could see, and then I'm just gonna nudge her with my foot.
Wait a minute. Jerrica waits 5 minutes to see if the staff will.
They're settling in for a good old chat. I'm afraid to have to tell you. At least they haven't heard you guys muttering at each other.
I'm going to raise an eyebrow. Remember what remember the cookies that that Angeline mentioned, and just reach for the door and just reach for the door handle.
Is Jerrica going to do anything about this?
Jerrica swats at her hand.
Okay, this is going to be a contested dexterity check.
So am I dex saving or just dex checking?
No, you're both dex checking.
Got it.
Jerrica's too fucking stunned, so all of a sudden root cellar door opens and because that's the thing, because all of this was seen through the keyhole and you weren't quite hearing the murmuring, you don't know why she was pausing. So you'd open the root cellar and there's a little bit of light from like one candle and the banked and the banked fire in the oven, and this spindly older gentleman and matronly kitchen looking portly individuals they both turn around looking at you like, what the fuck kind of expressions as you get Jerrica and Delphine with an owl sitting on her shoulder. You have very short time before someone starts yelling.
Evangeline sent us.
What?
For the cookies. The ones... DM, just remind me what the actual...
I'm sorry, I'm going to have to ask you for an int check for that one. I know one of you was taking notes. I didn't know if they took notes on anything that...
Cookies in the pantry.
Yeah, there's about 5 different kinds of cookies in the pantry. All
specific ones is the one I'm trying to remember.
Yes, I know. But all Delphine has is, how do you put flowers in a cookie? I thought it was flour, not flowers.
It says some sort of apologies. The description was vague. A flower sort of flavor.
Violet.
Candied violet cookies.
Yes, her violet cookies.
She sent 2 wanted criminals here for cookies. They don't sound like they exactly disbelieve you, but it's more of a, what the fuck?
Essentially, yes.
It's the woman who's going, if you'll pardon me, this does not fit in very well with the stabbing and abduction.
We're friends with her. Unless you believe the city watch.
I went out of my way to make sure. That the stabbing didn't. So she's very much alive.
The spindly man and the portly woman kind of look at each other and look back at you. And it's the gentleman who voice that suggests he's kind of, footman kind of individual going, I understand that you're both a bit on edge, but do stop hovering around in that door. You look ridiculous.
Alright, I'm going to walk forward and just let my hands drop and stop looking through Fluffy.
Why do you have an owl? Ooh.
Try. Well, let's just say I'm good with animals, and one of my specialities happens to include owls.
Among other things, still from the spindly gentleman, the portly woman is just, I'm going to go and see about those cookies now. I'm assuming that that's actually a thing? to the door just next to the root cellar. Opens it, goes in, and the spindly man is still giving you the among other things.
Yes, her journal and, well, some
Personal effects.
personal effect of witchcraft that Gallenford would use to hurt my daughter. You might have seen her.
The footman looks very dubious, but the kitchen woman comes out with a plate of cookies and a high stacked plate of virulently purple cookies. You guys have never seen purple cookies.
How?
Candied violets, that's how. And
Oh.
okay, I can see it in the hair and the recalcitrance. I understood she was an orphan.
That statement was inaccurate.
She thought she was.
Well, I'm glad she's not. She was rather inconsolable. A little stunned by this, but and I don't think she entirely believed you were dead, but the time she did, you know that bit of grief where you do and you don't, and it's a whole denial situation, and the time she let herself believe it, she was inconsolable.
Well, Gallenford didn't bring her here out of the kindness of his heart.
The footman and the kitchen wench are both looking at her like,
How aware are you of any of the places that servants are not precisely allowed?
the fact, I mean, I mostly at the kitchens. I know what comes in and out of here, but I don't know how much to credit what few rumors I actually hear, but most of it doesn't make any sense to me. I just cook. And the footman individual is just, I mean, rumors do not come below stairs as much as most of them do in a noble household. There's been one or two things, but a few times anything like that's been even murmured of. Often it doesn't even matter how late in the evening it is, or who is or is not around. The servants who've ever dared speak up about anything that sounds like that usually disappeared without collecting their last wages within a few days.
Isn't that? There's a reason he doesn't let you into the basement.
Certain segments of the basement, I'm sure you mean, and yes, we do know that. It's simply dangerous to know what those reasons are. While I appreciate that you are probably more of the anti-hero type, but some of us have to find less vigorous ways of feeding our families.
Which of the, or would you be able to at least point us to the passages to head up stairs? At least get Evangeline's personal effects.
Well, I suppose that depends entirely on how many places do you want to get here, because I imagine it's not just hers. You spoke enough of... yes, I was about to say.
And Evangeline's room.
Well, for the heir and lesser nobles wing, you'd want, and points a door at the far end of the kitchen, go through that door, up the stairs. Miss Evangeline's room was fairly close to the corridors for the vaults, if I recall correctly. I'm unfortunately not sure which painting the secret doors behind, and woe betide you if you get them wrong. The doors are a bit hidden. I mean, Evangeline probably would have. The only thing she would have done is mention we weren't supposed to touch the paintings. There's a door there somewhere. I don't know where it is. And mostly trusted you to figure that out.
That's for the vault room?
Well, the vault room from that side, anyway.
Oh, okay.
I believe there's an easier door through the high nobles wing, but that's only because that's rather heavily guarded.
Is there anyone else through the rest of the kitchen? I
Um,
don't want to accidentally spook anyone.
well, this is the main kitchen room. The other segments of the basement, the kitchen woman glances at the footman. Well, I think what you're looking for is that stairwell that the nobles took the other night.
Very much so.
That's the main hall. Moderately guarded this time of evening. And you know apparently where that is, given that if you were there, I mean, you were clearly there when Miss Evangeline was injured, even if you weren't the ones to do it. So you know where that is.
Mm-hmm.
So it points to another door, sort of to your immediate right. Because what you're currently looking at is a large kitchen. The kind of one you'd need to feed a whole house.
I'm going to head to the place where they said the door to go up is.
Yeah, that's straight ahead from the root cellar door. And it's just
I'll be right back. I just need to take care of something and take Fluffy off. Just get out of immediate sight. Corgify.
Filthy look.
I need you to do some scouting. Go on up the stairs. I know even that fuzzy self can manage.
Yeah. You open the door a crack and look through, and I mean, actually, first make me a stealth check.
13.
There is a certain amount of there are two guards because the stairs up are at the end of another bit of corridor out that door, and closer to the stairwell entrance you get a couple looking, going, "Hey, what's this?" And then Corgi, "Oh," and one of them starts walking towards the kitchen, not looking like they expect intruders, just shoot a filthy look at the dog as he approaches. So is Delphine going to do anything?
I'm going to head back.
Yes,
very quickly.
Yes, he's clearly going to be coming into the kitchen. Do you want to not be in the kitchen room?
I'm just headed back, and the hiding spots I've seen are
well, you could just go into the root cellar.
Yeah, that's why I was thinking root cellar first. So I'm headed back. We need to hide in the root cellar. Someone's coming
Yeah,
down.
the kitchen door. You hear the rattle of the latch.
Jerrica moves.
Yeah. And what you hear is, "Have you been spoiling those fucking dogs again?" "Well, they're adorable." "You really need to stop doing that." "What? Their owners spoil them all the time. I'd probably get a promotion." "In this place, a woman can dream." "Or were you just here looking for another excuse to raid the beer?" "I'm on duty. Since when has that ever stopped you?" "How about you hush about when I have my breaks and what tidbits I might feed to the corgis, and I won't make any statements about how much of the leftovers you wind up drinking." You can feel the filthy look from behind the root cellar door, and then the slam of the kitchen door is.
I'm going to briefly, so if Fluffy's still within range, check through.
These corgi galoofing upstairs, so that's kind of disorienting just because of the sheer.
And there's, yeah, like, even though I'm not seeing, I full on Muppet scrunched where I'm standing, and I let go of that. Remind me to probably never look through Fluffy as a wolfhound.
Actually, to be fair, that'd probably be smoother on stairs. Just it's because it's short little legs and ptunk, ptunk, ptunk.
Or at least on anything quite that short.
Well, you're behind the root cellar door, so thankfully you're not getting that. But that's what Jerrica is getting. And
Jerrica
even
waits for the guard to leave.
oh, the guard's left.
No, she steps back out. Thank you.
Most of the guards are assholes anyway.
Well, we'll be on our way then. Probably best if you two stay here. Keep your heads down.
Footman's was, "Bugger that. I actually need to get some sleep. I'm not for there yet. I'm having myself a scone, and then I am going to start the bread rising for breakfast."
If the footman's I'm going to nudge him before he completely leaves.
Mm.
If we might be long gone once your shift starts, but if there's still any sort of alert or anything of that nature, could you leave one of the servant side doors for entry and leaving open, unlocked?
I could not in all good conscience do that, nor could I in all good conscience let you know that that door there is the door to the kitchen garden, which does actually lead out to one of the alleys. I couldn't do that.
Be well, good sir.
Out he goes. Frederick's terrible. Munch.
He, as I said, does his duty well.
And Corgi Fluffy is just This smells like the noble lady.
Checking. I turn aside and
Yeah, it's
hand
a
over face.
it's a and it's an ornate corridor. A lot of deep wine red and bits of gold trim. It's gaudy as fuck, basically. In that is this a noble home or a brothel kind of way, and there is a door. Not entirely sure what type of wood, because this is still dog site and they don't see quite as many colors, so you can only imagine what that red actually looks like to human eyes. With then again, it doesn't seem to be overly well lit, but there's still a fair few candelabra burning. Door does seem to be further end of the corridor. The guards you saw at the bottom of the stairs seem to be the only ones in the immediate area. So, no guards in that particular corridor. But it's just sort of doing the corgi sploot in front of the door that smells of the noble lady.
Alright. So we know which one's the noble lady. There's telepathically. Which one's the missus? Give it another minute and try to find noble. Try to find Evangeline's.
That's our noble lady.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Try to find. Okay, that's Evangeline's. Then try to find. Just check around for the other two, and if anything smells or sounds like air moving through a less than perfect seal.
I think the murdery man is on the other side of the house from here.
Oh.
That's what you all were saying.
Yep.
I can sniff for air currents, but didn't they say that it was poking a painting, and if you poke the wrong one, bad happens?
Yeah, that's why I'd like you to sniff around to at least know which one, or which ones. Don't
Yeah.
touch them. Just
I
keep your
don't
finger.
I don't know if I can smell trap.
Yeah. We just need to know which ones are.
Smeagol, I don't think you're entirely understanding. The door's not behind a painting. It's if you move a painting, a door at the end of the corridor opens.
Yeah. Okay. So
So
I will say-
no air current from behind a painting will tell you which
okay.
one the right one is.
Yeah.
It's just if you nudge the right painting, that door will open. If you nudge the wrong one, some other trap will set off.
Okay, so I'm gonna think on that for a minute. Now that I actually understand what she meant. Then instead sniff for any of them that smell like murdery man.
Okay. Except, didn't the lady who smells like cooking say that there was a proper door on his side? Should I smell for ones that just smell like other people? Because nobody's going to want to poke one that does bad things. So the one that's okay to poke at would smell more of people.
Do that then.
Your familiar is smarter than you.
Oh, yeah, because that's where I thought the line was going. It was just.
I get it. It's okay. And we're at about break time, so we'll take 5 minutes, and in that time, you all can think about how you're going to get past those two guards. And we're back with plans that, if it all goes wrong, apparently are going to involve bears. Okay. Because this is a thing that happens. And knowing these guys, it's... Yeah, anyway. Currently they are in the kitchen watching a matronly woman enjoy her cup of tea and her scone before setting to bread mixing. Because you have to start that shit way early. I used to do kitchen stuff at a summer camp.
And I work food service, so I am aware of how stupid early this stuff kicks off.
So, yes, currently we've got Delphine telepathically communicating with Fluffy the Corgi, who is upstairs sniffing for things, and trying to work out how to get past a couple of guards watching the stairs up to residential quarters.
Once I've set Fluffy to task, I'm gonna walk over to Jerrica. I have a thought as to how we can get past the two in the hallway.
Oh, yeah?
Well, given I've already sent a infiltrator upstairs, I'm thinking that once said infiltrator finds the specific key we're looking for, I can set said infiltrator to return to earshot for those two and distract.
That does sound like our best bet.
And they'd probably
We'll-
be obliged to go at least look, which would give us ample time to get up the stairs.
That'll do just fine.
The matronly woman is going, and what if only one of them go?
Yeah. Because then I have to resort to Plan B, and Plan B is not something I'd like to use.
I can knock out one of them.
Well, there is another option. I mean, if one of them was going upstairs to check on, I'm assuming, barking somehow? Once he's already upstairs, somebody else is going to be obliged to check if, say, one of the help starts screaming?
Wouldn't screaming put them a little too much on edge?
That entirely depends on what kind of screaming. If it's something to the order of saw a rat.
That would be... We would appreciate that quite a bit.
Is there anywhere we could wedge ourselves for when said individual comes in and we can get past?
Well, the door opens in, so if you just go to where you'd be directly behind the door.
Thank you very much.
Incidentally, it may occur to Delphine, because she's not stupid, she can do rats if you want veracity.
By the way, if you want veracity, I do have a way with rats.
Mind if I ask?
Royal rat.
Oh.
Former royal rat catcher.
Oh! Huh. You're the poor dear that they thought had been beaten to death.
Yeah.
Hold on. Into the pantry room. Comes out with basically another little bag. various bits of nougat fancies.
Thank you. That's getting stashed.
And thankfully you will, if you succeed in this, you will hopefully have a bag to put everything in. So, yes. All right. At which point you're getting Fluffy going, I'm looking at it. I don't know how to describe it to you, but I'm looking at it.
And I'm going to check.
There's definitely a Gallenfort look to the individual in this painting. More on the paternal Gallenfort kind of spare individual. Evangeline got a lot of the looks in the family, but you've basically got a spare, slightly creepy looking gentleman. Little further away from the door than you'd expect, but then again, it's probably the best way of making sure that that's not the first one somebody would try.
Can I try and memorize it through this perspective? Lock it in. Okay. Now that we found it, I need you to get. We're gonna somewhere that you're within earshot of the two guards you went past, and proceed to be loud, fluffy dog at something arbitrary. Oh, and feel free to mess somewhere if you want to.
I have ideas. Around about that point, you start hearing the typical corgi. certain amount of swearing, and do we really need to look into this? Barking at something is probably just one of the nobles coming back from whatever they're up to. At which point, ow, son of a! And then more yipping as, right, they won't miss one. Get back here, you little shit! And it's like, you stay here. You're really gonna he bit me! Yep. Quietly, son of a bitch, I hate this job.
And I'm going to look to the
Oh,
the woman.
am I getting something to scream at?
Yeah, sorry. And 1, 2, and 1, 2, 3, and as many not rat swarms, but giant rats as it'll allow.
Oh Christ!
They're just like New York rats, basically.
I know giant rats are bigger than New York rats. You'd still need a swarm for track bunnies.
So if that, then I'm just manifesting a single swarm. So because I want them to be able to just fucking scatter.
Yeah, no, that's entirely fair. I'm just looking at the challenge rating. Yeah, you can definitely manage a swarm of rats. So all of a sudden, swarm of rats, and the screaming is at least 75% genuine at that point, because she wasn't quite expecting an entire swarm. And whoa, what the fuck, rats! Oh shit! And the
Jerrica pulls Delphine towards that spot behind the door.
I was already there.
yeah,
Could be.
you do. However, thankfully, dude does not notice because he's too busy freaking out over the sight of rats. But he does swing the door open pretty hard. And Smeagol, odds or evens?
Odds.
Yeah, you take 2 points of bludgeoning damage as the door hits you in the face. But yeah, there's a lot of screaming as the rats are scurrying around the place, and
I just have them doing like all kinds of. I set
Yeah.
them just havoc.
yeah,
That was the command. Just havoc.
shenanigans. Yes, I get it. So yeah, there's screaming and shenanigans, and this guy is trying to stamp on them, but that's not working, partially because he doesn't want to get too near them because his friend just got bitten by a corgi, and he doesn't want to get bitten by something potentially diseased. And the kitchen woman is standing on the table, and in the in the supposed attempt to scatter Rat, she's thrown her teacup at his head.
Bonk.
Yeah. So it's a bit of a disaster in there, and yeah.
Just gonna attempt to quietly make my way around.
Stealth check from the both of you.
18.
18.
Yeah, you guys slip around the door, because honestly, this is passive perception for these guys, because rats everywhere, and they're really not looking in your direction right at this point. And sneak quietly up the stairs, and in the not in the direction that. Basically, when you come out onto the stairway, there's a short bit of corridor and a long bit of corridor, and the long bit of corridor is the way you want to go down. And down the short bit of the corridor, you have Fluffy just running circles around this guy who's making desperate attempts to stab at Fluffy with sword, and that's not going overly well. But he's come close a couple of times and just.
And if he does,
well, but if he manages, but Fluffy just goes back to the void. So
yeah, that's sort of what I'm getting at. It's like if he hits you, is just as we're headed up. If he hits you even once, just leave.
To be fair, corgis don't have a lot of hit points. If he hits Fluffy even once, they'll have to.
He probably have to, but just like if he does, and it doesn't immediately break the corgi.
So he's still trying to buy you as much time as possible. So.
Mm-hmm.
So, which are you doing first, Evangeline's room or the painting?
Evangeline's room.
Well, Delphine's the one who knows the room, so
Yeah.
you sneak quietly through, and you go unnoticed by the individual who is very much after a corgi skin rug, and possibly mittens or something, but is going to be very surprised if he actually manages to hit Fluffy. You open the door onto what is, for a noble's room, surprisingly sparse. I mean, it's clear somebody's tried to fancy it up, and obviously well-kept antique furniture, but she's clearly tried to keep it as plain as possible. So, relatively plain bedspread, slightly ragged edges where bits of lace have been removed. Dressing table with not a terrible lot of the usual cosmetics on it. The wardrobe is probably the biggest bit, but that's because there are expectations with a capital E.
So I'm going to look for that bag first.
Yeah, the bag and the journal are in a box under the bed.
Right. Once I've got that secured, journal goes into the bag at least.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to go to the wardrobe and just outfits into the bag. Because I've got to compensate for that loss, at least a little bit. And hey, better if it looks like at least something was stolen.
Yeah, well, if you really want that, there is a jewelry box on her dressing table.
Yep.
Jerrica, just look for the jewelry, Delphine.
Give me a second. Just as much of this as I can. Just jewelry brush wholesale into the thing.
Jerrica looks for like a stuffed animals or some other.
She hasn't kept so much in the way of stuffed animals, but there are a few children's books and a sketchbook set of oils. Clearly, it's just oil pastels. Clearly, she and Viola would have something to talk about, and map of Empire territories, as it were, pinned up on the wall over the bed. The little bits of note, clearly places that I want to visit someday.
Oh, that bag. The what it does what she says it does, Delphine. Well, actually,
since I just took a whole jewelry box, just
well, that's the thing. It's a bag of holding, and she's just stuffed like 4 dresses into it, and
Jerrica gives that a weird look, and then she gathers up the books and the sketchbook and the oils.
I'm just I'm delighted by this. I'm grinning ear to fucking ear right now.
Yeah, she helps Delphine put that in the bag. All right, let's get moving again.
yeah,
and out of all the dresses, a few of them just gonna leave just yeeted across the room.
Oh, so it looks like you actually tossed the room.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna leave a few drawers arbitrarily just open.
Okay. Back out in the corridor, there's still yip. Come here, you fucking bastard! Meanwhile, you've also got. You guys can hear her, but he's clearly not listening. Will you stop chasing the fucking dog? We're gonna need someone to deal with this. We got fucking rats. Are you even listening to me?
Good God, when did we start?
The painting's not too far down from Evangeline's room. It's actually quite close, and there's that forbidding-looking gallon fort of old.
I'm gonna stop, and I'm just going to be walking down the hall and just stop in front of it.
Okay. Give me a perception check. Both of you, if you like.
12.
Oh my gosh.
Basically, he looks a bit too much like the man who tried to hurt her daughter for anything but seething hate. Delphine, as she's looking, notices that a bit of the wallpaper is scuffed. It looks like maybe bits of frame have scraped across it. So that gives an indication that if you nudge the sort of bottom right hand corner of the frame, that movement's happened a fair bit.
Jerrica, head towards the door to it. I'm just going to indicate where.
Yeah, it's at the far end of the corridor, nearest the back wall.
Jerrica moves.
And once Jerrica's in positions, I'm going to nudge.
And there's a click, and the door opens. Well, the bit of wall really swings inward a little bit.
And I'm going to book it. Well, not so much book it, but like move as quickly and quietly as I can towards that, just in case it has a timer.
It doesn't seem to. It seems like something you have to shut again when you're coming through, so... And besides, Jerrica's got it held open.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, Delphine and Jerrica enter, shut the place, and it's... I mean, there's a lot of things in here, and while a lot of it is, family jewels, a terrible lot of gold, this seems to be a personal bank stockpile kind of room.
Erica gawks.
And there's also sort of way towards the back of the room, what looks to be it's some kind of metal box. It's a safe, effectively.
Question. Do I hear any faint whale song or ringing noise or like eerie singing sort of sound like the phone charms would if I was in need of one?
Not at the moment, but that might have something to do with... If there's anything like that in here, it's probably shielded in that big metal box.
Okay. I'm gonna head towards the box, and just as I'm going, arbitrarily take like random valuable looking things into the bag.
Okay, we'll deal with that later. Is Jerrica taking...
Yeah, and grabs a couple things that looks like she can stuff.
Well,
in her pocket.
she could literally just take gold. There is actually, stockpiles of spendable gold coin.
Yep, she grabs a few handfuls and puts them into Delphine's bag as they're going down.
She got lucky. That's a total of 30 gold.
Right.
How she wants to split that is up to her. But anyway, yes. So, Delphine grabs a couple of things that we'll deal with later, and you find yourselves in front of the big locked metal box.
Erica leans in to give that a very careful look over.
Perception check. And it looks pretty solid. There's clearly some kind of combination or code to open it. Unless you can find another way.
What's the combination? Is it 3 numbers? What kind of?
It's numerical of some type. If either of you two would have seen something like this, it would have been Delphine. So Delphine, give me an intelligence check.
Nat 20.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's a standard 3 number, left, right, left combination dial.
Oh, dial safe. Don't see a lot of these. It's usually just number settings. At least I know that, right? Now we just need a best guess at the code. I can try this a bunch of times, or we can hope there's... I'm going to look around in the immediate vicinity just in case there's any scrawled personal hints.
Perception check.
12.
Not that you can see. Although, with that intelligence check, unfortunately the journal's ciphered, but you have to wonder if either Evangeline's journal or something in Lord Gallenfort's rooms would be a better clue.
I'm going to reach in, pull the journal.
Yeah, the journal is exceptionally well ciphered.
Jerrica
Just paging
double-checks
through
the
it and
map.
just examining it and going, crap. Shut the journal.
Jerrica looks
Yeah.
at the map, and you said his room is next door, right?
No, across the.
Well, basically, you came in through a secret door in the lesser nobles wing. There's
Oh, yeah.
there's an actual door with more guards
Oh, yeah.
to the in. Basically, Lord Gallenfort's rooms are, and that whole wing is more guarded by physical guards rather than having, but it has a direct proper door to the vault because of it, rather than having a secret door and fewer guards. Although, on the other hand, if they think they have a rat problem, you don't know where the guards are now.
Yeah. So, do you think we exit through the vault, or should we go out and around?
Through the vault.
I mean, if it opens directly into his room, that would be great. If it opens down the hall from it, that's going to be a problem.
Not down the hall, according to Evangeline's map, literally across the hall.
Well, I'm gonna look around for the other door out.
I mean, it's literally on the other side. It's literally like, saltine box. So you came in through there, and right on the other side.
It's fucking saltines box, yes. All
Yeah,
right.
so you can see it's actually, I mean, pretty solid lock, but you can open it from the inside without having to unlock anything. There's just a lever that will undo things that a key would normally do on that side. So getting out's not a problem.
Trying to figure out how to make sure there's no guards. Would I be able to call anything into existence on the other side of the door? Or would I still have to see it?
I think you probably. I mean, I don't know if.
Nope, it's I can see. Never mind. Crap. Oh well, we're gonna have to just open this and hope.
You made a very good intelligence check. I'm going to give you this much. You could ask Fluffy if Guardman is suitably distracted by the situation in the kitchen to see if, you have Fluffy available.
Yeah, it's like I'm just hold on. Gonna check, and I'm just gonna concentrate and check.
Yeah. Currently, Fluffy is sitting at the top of the stairs. It's a weird perspective looking down the stairs from corgi height, and the guards and such are. There's a lot of yelling, and no, we're gonna have to call them in. Oh fuck. We have to evacuate. We'll see what they have to say, but we need to do something about this. Last thing we want is plague in this house. So Fluffy's a free agent. Apparently, potential plague in the house is Trump's nipping corgi.
Okay, Fluffy. Let's find the more guarded entrance to the vault. I need to at least see if anyone's still up here and not derailed by the downstairs. Did you see a lot of people come down?
Not yet. I don't think they want to wake anybody if they don't have to.
Right.
But I can find the up. I think the guards are talking.
Yep. Have yourself a wander, and I'll keep looking. And just have yourself a wander. I can just watch this all day.
I'll tell you when you should look, because I'm about to go down the stairs and you felt kind of sicky when I went up them.
You are amazing. Thank
Plus, you can tell the Jerrica lady what's going on. She likes to know these things.
Internal grin, and I'm just gonna let that go.
Yep.
So, let's just say that they're even more distracted by the rats.
I bet.
Oh, I love my little friends. They're so much fun. Now, Fluffy's gonna be heading around to the front of the door.
It might occur to Delphine that, given that they're saying they're going to call in outside help, like the same kinds of people that burned that warehouse to the ground and beat up your place, they might have reinforcements. So hopefully this happens before that they arrive.
Yeah. Hopefully, yeah. We are gonna need to speed things up, though, because my little friends, given the kinds of panic they induce, there's whole layers of that going on right now, and they're looking for reinforcements. Probably City Watch.
Then let's get moving.
Wait, because Fluffy. We need to at least know what's out there, and unless you want to have the entire party bus on top of us.
Delphine.
Yes, and of course he's got Delphine also thinking, I mean, Fluffy's a corgi now. He's got short little legs.
I can't remote change him. I have to be right up on him.
You could just imagine his corgi trying not to call attention to itself, but also short little legs. So
Just like, yeah, because just casual corgi.
and casual corgi is not very fast.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's. I can imagine Delphine also just examining this bag, which that does hum slightly.
Yeah, I just sort of zone out listening to it a little bit. I'm actually enjoying just the feel of just raw power.
Jerrica grabs another handful of gold coins.
Okay. And that's another 10. And eventually you get telepathic Fluffy. Well, I don't think that the Gallenfort men is here because they didn't knock on anything and they weren't keeping their voices down, but all the guard are gathered up trying to make sure no rats get into the main house.
Huh. May I? And I'm checking.
Currently, you're getting a view of calves and ankles running downstairs, going, "How the fuck did we get rats?" And then just, "We have food. Of course, there's rats. Little fuckers get everywhere." Drifting down the stairs and leaving the corridor effectively empty. Not even a basic guard.
I'm going to leave that check with a grin. Reach over and just pull the lever.
And that's the lock disengaging. You have to open the door from there.
And yeah, then swiveling around and just through the door.
Jerrica's just watching her just casually walk out.
Not even trying to hide because I know they're all gone.
Yeah, and mostly what you just see is Fluffy trotting in usual corgi.
You are just an absolute treat.
I'll stick with this while we're here, but I want something better when this is over.
Yeah, we'll definitely make sure of that, telepathically. And the door immediately across being Lord Gallenfort.
Yes.
just gonna try that door.
It opens. And this is an ornate room. This is a bed that could sleep a family of 5. Some significant antique style furniture. Wardrobe that puts Evangeline's to shame. Not a dressing table exactly, but a desk slash secretary kind of a thing with it, which is like papers and what have you that is too sensitive probably to keep in a study or a library.
Going to go over to that desk.
And there's a lot of paper.
Just gonna grab a whole handful into the bag.
Delphine, we need to find
I
the compilation.
know. This is casual papers. If we want to find the code, that's going to be hidden. And I'm also going to just look at, are there any like personal cigar boxes, anything particularly nice on
Yeah,
that desk?
I mean, there's a particularly nice inkwell. There is a good cigar box. Stuff along those lines, just fairly valuable table detritus.
I'm just taking all of it.
Okay.
Jerrica's definitely taking the cigar box.
I took that first. I'm gonna make sure Jared later.
I see. Well, that's nice of her anyway. Yes, but of course Jerrica doesn't know that, so it's fuck.
And then I'm going to start checking over the desk properly to see if there's any bits where they might hide code.
In this case, investigation check.
17.
It takes, well, very much looking like it's a thief rampage, because you've had to basically pull drawers out and dump them, probably tripping over another couple of incidental valuables as you pass, but scratched into the bottom of the middle shelf is a series of 3 numbers.
Right. Well, there then. What's the order?
Well, you can. I'm not going to recite numbers. You
Got it.
you
So
could.
it's just we see the combo.
Yes.
All right. Gonna haphazardly return that so that it looks like that was just pulled and not actually checked. So he doesn't think to actually have checked the vault just yet.
Okay.
Walk over, just circle the room, look into his wardrobe, take a few pairs of shoes, arbitrarily take more clothing. Like the most random shit I can think of.
Jerrica's poking around at random for anything else hidden.
Investigation check. No, she doesn't really know what to take beyond what Delphine has already taken, and she's just more disappointed that he's not there to rip into shreds.
Once I've raided a few of once I've raided the wardrobe, I'm gonna take a step back to the center of the room. Just sort of wait, try to feel something singing that might not be the bag.
Yep.
Any person, and then wondering if there's anything personal.
Uh,
Wander over.
yeah, I mean, not
Like
so
no
much.
personal.
I mean, there's a couple of items of you've probably nicked the couple of bits of jewelry, at least one medal, which he probably earned from command. So a lot of other people died to get him that medal.
Going to subsequently walk over to the bed, toss it.
It's very nice linen.
Take one of the sheets.
Delphine,
What? I need I need things for the rats to chew.
Bedding.
Yeah, I need bedding, and I'm then going to start heading back out, arbitrarily just knock over his desk chair. And as we're crossing the hall, going to at the top of the stair. Can I see the stairwell?
It's a fair ways away because you guys are at the far end.
As close to that as I can. Call in a whole bunch more swarms of rats and just hit and just declare just the whole assortment and just go scatter.
Yeah, that's the point at which you get the ones who are looking to see if there were further infestations. You hear a little too close for comfort, in point of fact, at the bottom of those stairs that you summoned them near. Oh, fuck, they got upstairs!
Come on, Delphine.
And then I'm headed into the vault and shutting that behind us.
Yep.
And locking.
Shut, lock. Yes, and you do get the safe open. And that's when the humming whale song senses of sheer power are unleashed once you get that door open. And what you do find is a couple of whalebone charms. You're not sure what they do yet. You're probably actually going to have to ask a proper witch for what those do.
Just reaching, immediately grabbing those at the end of the bag.
And a couple of very... and there's a couple more of those charms that you saw them using to track Evangeline or Mina, or both, ready-made. And there's a couple of vials of blood. Both of you make me a wisdom check.
12.
Oh my gosh.
Jerrica's pissed off that they have Mina's blood. You're not sure which one of those is Mina's blood, but it's still frustrating as fuck.
Yoink both of those.
Yes, but while Delphine is yoinking, that's not enough. And it's possible that they would have kept it all in one place, unless they gave some of it to someone else to actually make more of the charms. So either somebody else has got more of the blood, there are more charms floating around out there than you like to think about, or both.
I'm going to save that knowledge for later, because now is probably just the time to freaking grab it.
Yeah.
Because this is all we can grab. Just going to grab, all the charms, all of the individual little charms, the made ones.
The tracking charms.
Yep, the tracking charms, and the blood. Okay. Now we leave, and I think I know how. Isn't that?
Well, that kitchen garden route's out now, because the rats are in the kitchen.
If I recall, because we were in the Gallant Forts during party night, there's another garden.
There's the back garden, and there are some side gardens, but all things considered, and weirdly, it's probably Jerrica who had a decent look around the room for, bits and pieces of childhood bits for Evangeline, that would have noticed that there was some nice rose trellis outside her room. And given that they're not too far from Evangeline's room, and there's no corresponding trellis outside Lord Gallanfort's room, your best bet for out is climb down that rose trellis, being careful of rose thorns, and get out through one of the border hedges.
So do we go back down?
No. This damn guards are gonna be all over the kitchen. We'll go out through Evangeline's window. I think I saw a trellis out there. You can climb down.
And then we're gonna head out through the secret way.
Yeah.
leave it a little bit conspicuously open, but shut the vault.
Okay. Still gonna make you guys make stealth checks just for noise. Your TN is... Yeah, no. You're quiet enough that the rampage and the shouting for city guards and a particularly shrill sounding woman who's clearly Lady Gallenfort, who had the room nearest the door where Delphine let out her second swarm, is basically shrieking about getting the city guard down here right the hell now, kind of thing, in much snootier terms, but it's late.
She full Karen'd at them, basically.
Well, to be fair, can you blame her? There's like 3 swarms of rats. And yeah, okay. Acrobatics for you both.
13 again.
I mean, Jerrica's actually better at this. Delphine takes 2 points of piercing damage from rose thorns.
Son of... And I look, well, as I see Jerrica just clearly nimbly going down. This is just like rigging for you, isn't it?
Be happy it's not swaying.
Ooh. I'm immediately thinking, one more reason I really need to go to the Pandician jungle. Like she's fully aware that people who go there go crazy. Does not care.
And yeah, you vanish into the shrubbery and now have to get through the upmarket streets without the approaching city guard noticing you.
Jerrica looks for an alley at the side of city guard down the street.
You're in the richer part of town. Alleys are going to be a little bit treacherous. This may be a thing where you look for or make your own convenient darkness puddle that will make it harder for them to necessarily notice what y'all are doing.
So if I'm in the, so if we're both in the bushes, hiding, I'm briefly checking with Fluffy.
Fluffy is still a corgi. Fluffy can't climb down.
Yeah, no, I'm checking with Fluffy, as in like, see what does Fluffy see in the havoc that is in there? Still more Karening. Any of the city guard actually come in yet?
They're not in yet, yeah, but Jerrica's seeing them coming down the street.
Got it. Okay, so I'm going to vanish Fluffy.
Mm-hmm.
Reappear. Given it's in the evening / night. Sorry again. Shift to owl.
Never has an owl's hoot sounded quite so much like fuck you.
And lift off. And to Jerrica, if you want to make a break for it with whatever fancy disappearing act you can do.
What about you?
I have an eye in the sky. I can
Alright.
watch and hopefully time things properly.
Alright, if you're sure. But, she's starting to move for the nearest bit of shadows.
Stealth for you both, basically. I'll let Delphine have advantage just because she does have an eye in the sky. Yeah, Delphine manages to time everything wonderfully. Jerrica doesn't so much, but to be fair, they're relying largely on passive perception right now because this is a house in the middle of, very wealthy part of Dunwall infested with rats. So, a little bit by the skin of their teeth in Jerrica's case, but they do get clear.
And Jerrica is moving swiftly.
Yeah. I mean, you guys will probably meet up in a safer spot in the less salubrious parts of Dunwall.
Yay for timing and stealth game vision cones, because it's basically what I'm abusing the shit out of.
Basically. With I mean, Jerrica thinks it's a completely successful heist. And to be fair, Delphine's not unintelligent. She might want to spit that news out before Jerrica is in a place where she's going to have to worry about waking up little girl.
I'm literally just going to come around a fucking corner having done the vision cone abuse. Hey.
Jeez.
And just totally silent Fluffy landing nearby.
Come on, Delphine. Let's get back.
Wait.
What?
I mean, you guys are at a safe point right now because most of the city guard is dealing with that mess.
So, the stuff from the vault, from the safe in the vault, not enough. At the absolute minimum, there's probably still some blood out there with the person producing the charms.
Son of a...
I tell you this now so that you can kick over a few bins, put your foot through a dumpster. Be loud before you have to worry about waking up your daughter.
I don't need to...
Let it out. Seriously, just do it. I'll feel better.
Let it out when I find whoever that is.
Oh, trust me, I have a few ways of doing that too, I think. Remember the individual who makes... And I'm going to hold open the coat to show my black bone charm, and that thing's eerie little ringing.
Yes, I remember him.
Oh, I guarantee you that the community that makes those is very small, and if we bring him a sample of the charms that we've seen being used, and a few components of the process, at the very least, he'll be able to at least point us at who might be doing that.
If he's not doing it himself.
Oh, if he is doing it himself, I'll take care of that.
And you're getting the look of, no, you fucking won't.
What? As though you were going to do anything different.
Yes, I am going to do something to him.
No, different. He said different.
Oh.
The point, and Delphine is smart enough to understand this, it's not she do something different, it's that she wants to do it.
I get it. But how about how about I go in first myself? Because you're free. You. I know you're going to want to just immediately strangle him. You don't take well to this. You're clearly not taking nearly as well to all this power.
I would make sure it was him who did it first.
still, you'd go on about witchcraft and all of that, and be all derisive about it.
I don't care that he's a witch. I care if he makes those things for cultists.
That's the point being is that we're more likely to draw in flies with honey than with vinegar.
You just show him
So-
the charm and get him to admit.
I
that he
asked that
did it.
I be allowed to go in myself. You don't come in with me.
And of course, that is the problem, and get him to admit that he did it. It's just, no, but that's the point. No, you might not have done it.
No, and no, and that's the
Yeah.
that's the thing. Delphine's going. That I want you to stay out. Let me find out if it was him, and trust me when I come back out.
All right. We'll worry about him tomorrow.
And
Exactly.
Fluffy is like, if she wants to get there
Oh,
early.
still owl, so I would have to switch first.
Oh no, telepathic. Sorry. Basically, any time that Fluffy is speaking, and not in a raven form or parrot form or whatever, it's telepathic.
Got it.
Yeah, if she wants to make sure he's not gonna run, because that's probably her problem with you coming back out, I could sit with her and fly a signal at her if she needs to come in.
I'll have a way of letting you know if I need aggressive backup.
All right.
After all, gesturing up to appropriate hoot noise.
Yeah, well,
Yes,
probably
yes.
perched on lamppost.
Yes, I know you can talk to Fluffy.
And Fluffy will be sitting on your head if I have to. If
Hoot!
that.
I get your point, Delphine.
Then telepathically, besides she's seagoing. I thought the traditional was parrots.
And yeah, in the case of tradition, might even just give you parrot form. At any
Jerrica
rate,
starts moving.
yep, I'm going to follow.
Yep. Yeah, you get back to the No Name Inn, and I mean it's quite late, but you still have the individuals who seek oblivion still kicking around at that kind of hour. So you
Jerrica gets a bottle on her way up.
yeah, it's sort of, and you're not having any food to go with that.
No, thank you.
I'm gonna wait for her to head on up and then go. Yeah, we're gonna. I would definitely say food to go with that. She's had a night.
So, first all you get is and it comes back with the. You guys have not heard of Toad in the Hole exactly. It's basically. It's kind of like a cross between a sausage roll and a pie.
Ooh.
It's sausages in pie crust pastry kind of thing.
Yeah, in the case of like it or in the case of the like it or lump it, I'm very grateful for that. So I'm we got a grand total of like 50 odd gold and it's in the bag.
Yeah, but to be fair, that Lady Hepzibah's covering all of this, so any of that goes to her.
Got it. Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
but beyond, it's possible that when you guys were discussing this, it's like anything fencible goes to Lady Hepzibah so she can get her cut. Any straight up coin goes to you guys because you guys need spending money or saving up for whenever this ends. And, but the No Name Inn is being suitably compensated. It's just getting Lady Hepzibah the extras to justify the expense.
Gotcha. Yeah. I mean, I kind of wanted to essentially tip the man.
Yeah, probably best.
Personally, but-
Probably best to do that in your breakfast time, just because at this time of night he's keeping an eye to make sure that any drunken brawls don't become bloodbaths.
Yeah, so I'll just then I'll just take the food and get out of his way.
Yeah, and when Jerrica comes up, has got Evangeline kind of looking up, and you look cross.
Delphine's thinking that there's more blood with whoever it was that's making the charms.
Well, it doesn't surprise me. It would have been nice to have everything all in one place, but there is that whole eggs basket, But you got their backup stash, so now they must have only a limited amount, so that's something.
We've got someone to talk to about that, so we'll be seeing to that soon. Has everything been quiet here?
More or less. Mina, I don't know how restless a sleeper she is ordinarily, but nothing too unpleasant, just a fair bit of tossing and turning.
Good. Thank you for watching her.
I've been more peering in every now and again, and the walls are not so thick here that I wouldn't hear if it was more than just tossing and turning. But I don't think she dreams particularly well. Not surprising. On a number of levels, I suppose.
Oh, but still is other things to worry about. That's the least of our troubles.
And up comes Delphine with actual food.
I'm going to set the food down, walk over to Evangeline, still ear to ear grinning.
Wow.
Kiss her on the cheek, pull out her journal and hand that to her.
Oh, okay, I'll start decoding that. Great. I might try to get some sleep first now that we've got you guys are back to be doing the watching, but when I wake up, I'll start decoding this for any of the informative bits. And I mean, you guys are so on the opposite ends of the spectrum in terms of mood. It's kind of frightening.
Also, I'm just going to reach in to the bag again, produce one of the random ass dresses.
We've got a few of your things.
Well, you can give that Sophie the dresses. I have no intention of wearing anything that requires a corset ever again.
It was interesting to make it look like we'd tossed the place. Oh, wow, there were guards on duty, no less.
Oh, what did you do?
Oh,
Rats.
Pulling out Mr. Gallanfort's fucking shoes.
Those are his favorite shoes. Yeah, okay.
He putting those away, and now the cigar box. Jerrica? These are yours.
Yikes.
He's going to murder you both for that alone.
Well,
If he wasn't already going to, I mean.
I'm assuming that's his favorite house, too.
Well, yes, but there are specific things.
I mean that, while we haven't burned the house down, there's a presumed infestation of rats.
Are those ones that are going to just disappear?
Yeah,
I
they're
think
probably
so.
gone by now.
Then maybe the house won't be burnt to the ground. I don't know what they're
Though
going
for my friends,
No, there's
that was
still-
sheet.
There was a lot
I
of
found
shouting.
thing.
You took Papa's linens?
Yes!
Did
Jerrica sets aside the cigars and the beer and then goes to check on Mina.
did she hear us as well? Did you remember the cookies? Thank you. Grab. Yeah, Mina is. She's not usually a restless sleeper, but she is at the moment.
Jerrica just leans down to kiss her hair and linger for a few minutes.
Yeah, she settles a little. Clearly the proximity is helpful, but still somewhat troubled dreaming. And eventually, it really is just, in those moments while Jerrica is lingering, it's sort of. And so you just basically went. Someone's rat swarms, stole a whole bunch of random things, and then left.
And set at least one guard after the corgis, because Fluffy took the form of one and bit him.
I hope he doesn't go after all the corgis.
Yeah, I would like for him to not, but he's certainly very distracted by the infestation problem.
That's fair.
And I'm just pulling out the random detritus, just progressively more of the random detritus that I stole, just to see which ones are gonna make Mr. Gallantfort hate us particularly.
It's the personal shit from his room that's mostly. Half of the stuff from the vault she doesn't even know.
I'm just delighted at the fact I might just keep these damn shoes because it's yoink. Keep them, maybe go somewhere, have them retailored to fit me if possible. I just fucking taunt him with these things.
And of course, it's really only Jerrica who knows about the books and the pastels and the sketches, so she can't pull those out of there. Because it's like, I'm sure she put things in, but I don't remember what they are, and I can't find the... How does this work?
Jerrica will eventually come back
but
to help
but
once they're piling up all the loot.
Yeah, well, while they're... Jerrica's probably coming back in just as Delphine is asking how this thing works.
So, how?
I think, and this is only a theory... based on what I know about the mechanics of it, I think there's a little spot in the void, just a little pocket of void that's just hollowed out and is, okay, not so little pocket of the void, that basically anything you put into that bag goes into, so it's a certain size, but because it's not literally in the bag as you reach in, it's somewhere else. You have to think of exactly what it is that you put in, or that you want to take out. So, like, if I could turn it upside down and dump everything out of it. But that or destroying it is the only way you'd get everything out if you didn't know what it was.
Jerrica, what did you put in here? From the room?
Starts pulling out the books and the pastels and stuff.
Oh.
I will set up in front of Evangeline.
Thank you. And the sketch pads and everything I keep, but a couple of these I think are more suited to Mina now than me. Shifts them over in Jerrica's direction.
Thank you.
I think they're probably a little advanced for her reading-wise. Things I started reading when I was a year or two older than she is. But they're good for reading to her, particularly if she's following along with the words on the page at this point, which she must be. She's a bright kid.
We'll find a moment tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. Outside, now that I figured out how it works, now that I've been told how it works, I going to reach in and start pulling out more of the death detritus, specifically the various papers. So, think this would be amount to any more blackmail material and just more paper?
You'd Probably, but you'd have to give that to Lady Hepzibah. I may have to teleport you back in there, probably without me, just because if those charms are still out there.
Yeah, I don't want. It'd probably safer to not bring them charging down the front door.
Yeah, I mean they've been lurking around this area, but we've got Alan for that. That seems to have been working out fairly well. I've saw him at windows a couple of times. Nothing untoward, just checking up. But I just don't want to lead them to that warehouse again. Let them think it was just a fluke. That something led them there. Like I was just looking for a place to hide and had to move on. It's the best we can do.
Hepzibah can wait another couple days until we've dealt with the charm maker and that patrol.
Yeah, but we still won't know how many people are still carrying them around. Is my point. We should, even once you found the charm collector and stop more of them being made, we'll still have to be careful for a little while longer. But these things, particularly when they're thrown together quickly, I don't think they last forever.
And even if they do
Here's
last
hoping.
a little bit of an extended amount of time, that just boils it down to ambushing people who have them.
There's that witch. She's gonna be coming by tomorrow morning, isn't she?
Well, lunchtime, which I guess is morning for us, so yes.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have to speak with her first then.
I call dibs.
Well, you can invite her up for breakfast if she's willing to talk that much, just because I don't imagine this is a conversation we're going to want to have downstairs. If you like, I will entertain Mina so that she doesn't ask awkward questions.
Thank you. Again. I'm
Oh,
sure Delphine will temper her questions as well.
I'm not.
And why, if she's not, why should I?
Because we need to focus on what's immediately important. You can set up with her for tea time another day for
Jerrica,
additional conversations.
dear. Don't worry about that. You'll have your information. That's priority.
Thank you.
I
How
don't
ab-
have to temper my questions to make sure of that.
how about we just see how it goes tomorrow and trust each other that you'll get what you need rather than start things with an adversarial tone between you?
Yes, that'd be better.
She hasn't steered you wrong so far, not much anyway. And today I think she really came through from the sounds of things.
Yes, thank you, Delphine.
I'm going to get up, walk past Jerrica, pat her on the shoulder in sort of a grateful fashion, and open the window to call in Fluffy.
Yeah.
Sorry for the time that took. Your voice?
Fuck this!
Oh, come on. You must have had at least some fun chasing with that idiot.
If I have to have fur, wanna be a rat?
Yeah, I can see that.
Get more pets that way.
Just scritching.
Quark. Well, I think I'm going to leave you to it, because there's obviously drinking to be had and food. And she reaches into the bag, pulls out a couple of the cookies. Well, 3 actually. One for Holly, one for Socks, and one for Fluffy. Did either of you want to try one?
I'm definitely curious to know what purple tastes like.
Yeah, it's very sweet and very floral. It's like candied violet sugar cookie.
I've had elderflower lemonade, so and rose flavored lemonade too.
Yeah,
So that's
there's a violet has a sort of a almost there's a peach texture to the flavor. Just you can almost taste the slight fuzziness. But
I like that.
It's an interesting textural thing.
Okay.
And she leaves another couple for Delphine, and calls it an evening.
After she's gone, one of the first things I'm going to do is withdraw some of the fresh bedding.
Yes.
Just take my knife, cut off a chunk.
Yes, happy Holly and Socks.
And then I'm gonna provide them each a cookie.
Very, very happy Holly and Socks.
Yeah, because they've probably got like a little nest going on at this point.
Yeah, they
A box or something.
Yeah, you probably found them a box by that point, but their bedding has been very much substandard. Because they didn't.
Now it's the costliest it can be.
Yeah, well, their whole thing was we didn't want to shred your beddings here because you need to sleep on them, and the man who has the food would be mad.
So it was whatever bits of paper detritus we managed to scrape together,
Yes.
but now it's like full on bedding.
Yeah, proper, high thread count linens.
Yeah, so that's
Cutting
And,
that was fun, even with a knife.
it's just wow. And then then after that I'm gonna situate myself and just enjoy feeding Fluffy the remaining cookie.
No, I mean, you have she did leave you your own little stack. And,
Yeah, so feeding that, and then I'm gonna go through my stack, just sort of breaking bits off and then Fluffy as I'm enjoying that.
And I'm assuming somebody will dispatch the toad in the hole that Delphine brought up. Not so no thank you once it's already been provided, huh, Jerrica?
Yep.
So with her beer and her toad in the hole, and Delphine with the
Cookies, whatever, any other toad in the hole that's left.
And she did also get that those nougat fancies.
Yeah, which I'm gonna save those to probably give a few to Mina if possible.
And Evangeline is saving some of the candied violet cookies for Mina as well. So, because if anybody's going to enjoy eating bright purple cookies, it's going to be a 6-year-old.
Oh yeah.
Well, it's true. And we are at about that time, so we will meet up next week for meeting with the Brigmore Witch and whatever other plans you have to go and shake down a charm merchant.
Oh, I'm at the very least going to be asking the witch about what she might know about the charms as much as I am going to be the charm guy. It's just
We'll see.
everything I can.
We'll see where we'll go with that, but we'll see you next week.